As we see the officials for tonight's game, on the left, Dick Bavetta, and on the right, Lee Jones. And Norm, the crowd here should be in an anticipatory stage this evening, because they've really never seen Michael Jordan go off. He played here as a rookie and really had a subpar for him night of 20 points. Missed last year's game with an injury that also kept him out of the All-Star game that was played here at Reunion Arena. So this really only the second time he's ever been in this building, and he has never really had a great game.
No, he really hasn't. In fact, against the Mavericks in toto, he's never really had one of those Michael Jordan games. He averages about a little less than 25 a game against them. Now, that's good for most mortal people.
Exactly.
But this person, there are suspicions, is not mortal.
Averaging 37 points a game. And a very interesting stat, there was a nice article on Michael in one of the Dallas papers today pointing out that he is third in the NBA in steals. Despite leading the league in scoring, this is a young man who can play some defense. Just an outstanding athlete. Tip is going to be controlled by the Bulls. Charles Oakley gets it into the hands of point guard John Paxson, the little brother of Jim Paxson of the Portland Trail Blazers, and he works against Harper.
This is a beast down low on the blocks right now. Oakley has really become a player.
Leaning in on Donaldson, turns, misses, and Aguirre is there with a heavy brace around his right knee. Mark gets the first rebound of the game and pushes it up to Derek Harper.
Harper had an absolutely abysmal game when these teams met in Chicago 9 days ago.
Donaldson works low and scores the first points of the game. As he goes in against Oakley. Here's Banks swinging it to Corzine, covered by Aguirre. And Banks gets it low to Oakley, second in the league in rebounding. And here's Paxson with the open perimeter shot. He knocks the contest. Bulls come in after a 1-point loss to the Houston Rockets last night on Rodney McRae's tip-in of a missed Allen level shot with 1 second to go. And that extended their losing streak to 5, by far their worst of the season, as Sam Perkins gives the Mavericks the advantage back.
Well, it's about time for Michael Jordan to shoot. On the year, he squeezes off a shot every minute and 24 seconds. As owner Don Carter checks his watch, and Dave Corzine shoots. We've got a story going here, Alan.
Yeah, air ball for Corzine, and again, he's covered by Mark Aguirre, the Mavericks small forward. Here's Harper bouncing off a defender and then missing the perimeter shot. Oakley boards it down to Paxson and ahead to Jordan, who will work against Rolando Blackman. Jordan double team goes up to Paxson. Banks. Spin move, can't shake Perkins. And again, it's Perkins from the outside, and Donaldson, the league's fourth best rebounder, pulls it down ahead to Roe Blackman.
Mavericks so far doing a real good job keeping the Bulls off the offensive glass. Oh, Blackman makes a nice move and simply doesn't finish. Uh-oh.
Here's Jordan in the open court. Blackman from behind will be called for the personal foul. Roe Blackman not wanting to see an early version of Showtime. And that'll send Michael Jordan to the free throw line. Jordan by far going to the line more than anybody else in the NBA. 270 more times than Mark Aguirre, 145 more free throw attempts than Moses Malone, who is second in that category, to give you a bit of perspective.
And isn't it funny how people complain that Moses gets the breaks from the officials, and yet you hear no claims of that about Michael Jordan, who shoots a lot more than Moses.
Yeah, think about that. 11.5 free throw attempts a game average, and he is a good free throw shooter at 85%. And he knocks the contest with those two.
Problem with the Bulls is generally they keep the tempo down so low you can't ever shake them.
Here's Blackman leaning in. Corzine gets Donaldson out of the way. Ahead to Banks. Hopefully on the baseline. Turns on Aguirre. And I believe the foul is going to be on Mark Aguirre. And the Bulls with a new 24. Here's Jordan. His first basket. And the Bulls' first lead. Here's Aguirre low against Gene Banks. And Aguirre's first points marked the 7th best scorer in the league, but Banks at the other end, and Aguirre makes the fine defensive play from behind. nullifying what appeared to be a sure two by Gene Banks.
The Bulls do this a lot. They'll break the shooter's man, and a nice job of Aguirre, who timed it well, and it results in Dallas picking up a possession here.
As Jordan missed the perimeter shot. And now Jordan on Aguirre is going to be called for the foul on the reach.
If you're thinking foul trouble for Michael Jordan, that's how we'll get rid of him. He's not fouled out this year and averages under 3 personal fouls per game.
Oakley boards the miss by Donaldson, but throws it away, trying to hit Corzine. Mavericks in a 3-on-3, and Aguirre against Paxson is fouled.
Good job of forcing the action by Aguirre. He had a little man on him, Paxson, who was A, not going to block the shot, and B, not going to block his path. Aguirre, recognizing it, took it right to him.
Aguirre and the Mavericks back-to-back games over the weekend had 32 against the Hawks and 30 against the Rockets. He has led the Mavericks in scoring 43 of 63 games that he has played.
But notice how slow the pace is already. The Bulls do a really fine job of keeping the pace down in this league. They're the second best defensive team in the league and the second worst scoring team in the league. All that means is they don't like to play high-scoring games.
Love to keep it under 100. When they can hold you under 100, they're 18-6.
And when held under 100, the Mavericks are 0-4.
If you score 100 against the Bulls, their chances of winning not that good. They're 14-26.
This is a club that could be very tired. Oakley just goes right around Donaldson. This is a matchup that could trouble Dallas, Allen, because Oakley's capable of doing that.
Boy, Oakley took off from the foul line, went left, and had no trouble beating Donaldson to the hoop for his first points. He averages 14.5 a game. Really the only other scoring threat on this team besides Michael Jordan, as Aguirre pops out for 2 more, and he's got 6.
You know, the guy handling the ball has really been a pleasant surprise for them. They tried all sorts of different people at the other guard. They tried Coulter for a while.
Oakley in and out. And Perkins outfights his teammate Donaldson for the board. Yeah, Paxson's having a career season for him. He's a career 5-point-a-game scorer who's averaging 11.5.
They gave some minutes to Elston Turner at the other guard. They played Sedale Threet there for a while, but the best one has been Paxson.
Shot clock winding down on the Mavericks as Perkins and Banks and Donaldson, and they'll say the Mavericks time up. I believe Aguirre on the reach in ties up Gene Banks, who was sandwiched between Aguirre and James Donaldson. Donaldson is standing at the line as though he were the one that tied up Gene Banks. As you see, rookie coach Doug Collins, the youngest coach in the NBA at 35.
Oh, they're going to let Donaldson do the jumping, Allen?
Well, James went to the line, and no one's argued yet.
Now Doug Collins is saying something in the background. You can see him.
Donaldson wins it and eventually gets it himself. Aguirre gets a screen from Donaldson on Oakley, and Aguirre is off early. He's got 8 of the Mavericks' first 12.
Uh-oh. We've already got something we haven't seen this year. A coach having to use both hands to signal in the play. They got a lot of plays on this team.
Must get up in them high numbers.
That's right.
Here's Jordan. Corzine low to Banks. And Paxson for 3.
Yes.
Gets it. The 30th 3-point make of the season for John Paxson. He has 30 of his team's 45. So he's about the only real 3-point threat on the Bulls team. Here's Perkins in hard against Oakley, but Oakley holds his ground, and again the Bulls throw it away, trying for the quick outlet. This time meant for Gene Banks, and a timeout is called with 6.5 minutes to go in the initial quarter, and the Mavericks, behind Mark Aguirre's 8 points, have an early 1-point lead over Doug Collins' Chicago Bulls. Other NBA games on this Tuesday night. One of the headliners, Boston at Milwaukee. You don't play the Celtics on St. Patrick's Day, according to assistant coach Richie Adubato. Mavericks interested in the Utah game against Golden State. Also, Portland at the Clippers as the Blazers trail the Mavericks by only 2 games in the race for second place in the conference.
Here's our trivia question tonight from HSE. We're simply asking about Coach of the Year honors. Who's the most recent Chicago coach to win the NBA Coach of the Year award? If you know, give us a call at 744-4703 and 744-2713.
That last turnover, the third by the Bulls, Mavericks have yet to make a mistake, Norm, and that has been in character with this Maverick team, which is average turning it over less than 12 times a game the last 9 outings. Here's Blackman on it. Jordan and rolls it in left-handed. So all the Maverick starters sans Derek Harper on the board, and it's Dallas by 3.
We've seen 2 outlet passes go awry for Chicago so far, and that's really the difference in the game. Ellen, that's very typical. Oakley's a very good rebounder, but a very poor passer. He averages 4 turnovers a game.
Shot clock down to 5 as Gene Banks in the corner. Somebody better do something. Here's Oakley, not going to get it off in time. So the Bulls turn it over on a 24-second violation, and again, Doug Collins up on the Chicago bench, and not a happy man. The 5-game losing streak starting to take its toll. And as Norm was pointing out, this is the 4th game in 5 nights for the Bulls as they're on the road, and they're going to be there for a while. They got 3 more games on this trip as they head west. Here's Blackman off a screen, and Banks is there for the board, and you can see what a good rebounding team Chicago is.
Yeah, we talked about their fatigue before. This is the 7th game in 10 days for the Bulls in 6 different cities.
Corzine. And again, the shot clock becoming a problem for the Bulls. That's Corzine. Ad-libs, and Banks one high off the glass to bring the Bulls to within 1. Perkins to answer. Ball comes out long, and Aguirre touches it last. So the Bulls will come up the court looking for the lead.
But again, notice what Chicago's doing that Seattle didn't do the other night in the same situation. Seattle, off a tough game in Houston, came in here and ran. Chicago, off a tough game in Houston, has come in here, played very deliberate basketball, and it's working. It's keeping them in the game.
At 24-second violation, the 4th Bulls turnover. Here's Jordan. Nowhere to go as he works against his former North Carolina teammate Sam Perkins. Here's Banks leaning in as the shot clock again about to run out on the Bulls. Oakley cannot save it as he careens into the Maverick bench.
Oh, and Dick Motta has what he's always dreamed of. Charles Oakley at the end of his bench.
But just for a moment. Boy, the Bulls really having difficulty getting into their offense. They have had to get off some very poor-looking shots just to beat the 24-second clock as Harper rattles it in and out and back in for his first bucket of the game. Here's Jordan. 3rd shot attempt for the quarter. And Aguirre.
Keep moving it at him. He's got the same mismatch he had before. Paxson absolutely can't stop Aguirre in the open floor. Mark can get off really whatever shot he wants.
Mark missed the first game in Chicago with a knee injury, and he has double figures already as he goes in his imitation of Michael Jordan, who has the ball here, the real thing. Can't hit again. Corzine can't keep it alive, but Aguirre again. Mark hitting the bar. It's hard tonight.
Entering the game for the Mavericks.
Knocked this one out of bounds as Tarpley checks in for Sam Perkins, and the Bulls will get rookie Brad Sellers from Ohio State in for Gene Banks.
Your eyes do not deceive you. This is an honest-to-goodness 7-foot small forward. That's the position he plays on this club, because Corzine's the center, Oakley's the power forward, and Sellers is honestly a 7-foot small forward.
Sellers clapping for the ball. They're looking for Jordan. Cross-court pass to Paxson. Tough shot. And again, it's Aguirre out fighting Jordan for the board ahead to Harper. Jumper over Sellers. Very short. Derek Harper, who has really struggled from the field of late. 38% the last 6 games. Here's Jordan as Aguirre reaches in almost with the steal. Oakley hits Sellers. Back to Oakley for the layup.
This pace is so low, though. This is definitely not a Dallas game. Right now, the pace of this game, it'll be played in the 90s, and that's Chicago territory.
Aguirre misses this one, but look at him come back and take the ball from Oakley. Donaldson for the jam, and Mark Aguirre, the dominant player on the floor right now, with all the eyes shifting from Michael Jordan to Aguirre. And it's now Mavericks by 5.
It's not inconceivable that the presence of Jordan has lit up Aguirre.
Boy, something has. Here's Sellers walking with the ball, trying to put a move on Roy Tarpley as you have a battle between the 9th and 7th pick in last summer's draft as Mark Aguirre's thievery here. And the setup for the jam by Donaldson has expanded the Mavericks lead to a game-high 5 with 2:25 to go in the period.
Here's your trivia answer. We asked you to call us with the name of the most recent Chicago Bull coach to win the NBA Coach of the Year award. It was John Richard Mata. 1970-71, J.C. Edwards from Dallas, our second caller, had the correct answer.
Quick reminder that you can meet Maverick players Brad Davis and James Donaldson at the Sears stores in Valley View and Northeast Mall on Friday. Brad Davis will be in the camera department at the Sears store in Northeast Mall in Hearst from 6:30 to 8:30. James Donaldson at the camera department at the Sears store in Valley View, also from 6:30 to 8:30. This on Friday. Blackman. If the Mavericks get the ball back after the timeout, and Donaldson on the offensive glass has a half dozen. Bulls only 6 of 15 shooting. Mavericks 9 of 19. And Aguirre 4 of 5 as Sedale Threet checked into the game and handles the ball for the Bulls. He's on for Paxson. Here's Corzine. And Aguirre flat-footed with the rebound. And he will clear the 10-second line. And go to work on Sellers. Taking to the basket.
Oh, welcome back to school, Brad Sellers.
As Brad Davis checks on for Derek Harper, and Aguirre continues to be the show. 4 of 5 from the field, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and a perfect 2 of 2 from the line.
We're talking triple-double numbers here, aren't we?
Already.
Yeah.
As we're not through with the first quarter, and not many empty seats, if any at all, at Reunion tonight. All the tickets sold for this game a long time ago. But with 41 home games and about 85% of the Mavericks crowd season ticket holders, you can usually find some empty seats, but not tonight with Michael Jordan in town, as Ben Poquette is on for the Bulls in place of Corzine. They get the ball to Jordan, who is double teamed and probably will be so all night. Here's Sedale Threet open on the perimeter, and the 4th-year guard out of West Virginia Tech pops one through.
This club does have some players from out-of-the-way places.
A lot of small schools represented on the Chicago roster.
Virginia Union and Arkansas Little Rock.
Here's way outside Oakley with the board.
You know, Dallas ought to be a little more patient. Working the ball against the Chicago offense has produced some easier shots.
Tarpley's not been shooting the ball well either. 43%. Here's Oakley, who's already got 6 rebounds, and that is his 6th basket. So Oakley certainly on schedule for a double-double, of which he has done 40 times this year. Has he gotten double-figure points and boards in the same game? Talk about your classic case of playing in the shadow and not being publicized much. That's Charles Oakley's problem. And then Donaldson is out of the blocks early with an 8-point first period. Norm James has been scoring a lot better lately.
He has. He has. He's been becoming much more part of the offense. And they're calling it. Look out here.
Yes. And there's Jordan the first time tonight when he really explodes along that baseline. An incredible hang time as he makes it a 5-point game again. A 6-point first quarter working for Michael Jordan. Here's Brad Davis against Threet. Loose ball foul is going to be called on Aguirre, and that's number 2. No, 42 and not 24. So that's the first on Tarpley and the 3rd on the Mavericks.
But again, Alan, while Dallas has dominated play in the quarter, has held its own on the boards, has forced some turnovers, if Chicago can get a basket here, we're right at that pace of around 100, and Chicago's playing their type of game.
And the Bulls will play for the final shot of the period. Here's Jordan to the foul line. Rattles another one home, and after a slow start, Jordan has 8. Mavericks in a hurry. Brad Davis to Blackman, open in time. So the Mavericks answer, and both teams score in the last 6 seconds, and the Mavericks on the Rolando Blackman jumper will take a 5-point lead into quarter number 2.
The best advice Ray Meyer ever gave you?
Stop going home so much and stay at the door. Quit eating.
The best advice your late mom ever gave you?
Be honest. I think she's always told me, you know, if you're honest with a person, there's never.
Who knows Mark Aguirre the best in the world right now?
In Dallas, I'd say the best in the world would probably be my sister, but in Dallas, I would probably say Derek Harper, probably.
Best arena in the whole world to shoot in?
Best arena in the whole world to shoot in? Chicago State University.
And if you were back in college now and they had the 19-foot three-point goal, how many points a game would you have gotten?
I'd probably, sitting out offense, I'd average about 40 maybe.
He may get 40 tonight. Aguirre on the bench to start quarter number 2. You just saw the Sedale 3-jumper go, and that followed a fine drive, an acrobatic shot by Rolando Blackman, who stays on. Fires again. Detlef Schrempf, who is on for Aguirre with the offensive rebound. Davis gives off to Schrempf, the leading three-point shooter in the league, but Schrempf passes it up. Blackman again drives, dishes back to Tarpley.
Boy, nice patience by the Mavericks, who passed up about 4 shots in that run before they got a truly wide open one.
Sellers with the ball, turns and faces Tarpley. Here's Oakley, showing nice range, and Oakley has 8. Only a 44% shooter from the field. Donaldson works against Oakley. Tarpley with the offensive board, loses the handle on it. Jordan can't save it. And Granville Waiters will check in for Chicago, replacing Oakley. Waiters has not seen much action of late. In fact, this is his first activity in 5 games as Donaldson checks out for the first time tonight. Sam Perkins is back on, setting a screen for Davis. And again, Tarpley is open from the wing, and Sellers boards out the 3. Poquette is the trailer, and he gets the jam as the Bulls in transition cut it to 3. An interesting cat and mouse first half so far as the crowd waits for Michael Jordan to go into his act, which has not really happened yet. Here's Blackman.
Ooh, tough shot.
And Blackman now up to 8.
One of the ways that some teams have of playing Jordan is to make him work on the defensive end, and he'll have to work covering Blackman tonight.
And Blackman so far playing tough defense against Jordan at the other end of the floor. Waiters. Here's Threet to Waiters. And Schrempf.
Hoisted up. Oh.
Goes low to Tarpley. Waiters with the goaltend, and Tarpley gets credit for the hoop.
Granville Waiters, whose face was born, and then the rest of him about 12 years later was born.
Yeah, Granville is only about 25 or 6.
It's so hard to believe looking at him. He really looks older in the face, doesn't he?
Oh, he only looks 40, 45. Here's an offense. That's going to be against Brad Sellers and the offensive foul, so the Bulls turn it over again. Sellers gets called for his second
now look
offensive
at the team.
Foul.
Now look at the team Chicago's got on the floor. Paxson replaces Jordan, and you've got Paxson dropped by San Antonio, Threet dropped by Philadelphia, Poquette passed around the league by everybody, Sellers a rookie, and Waiters dropped by Indiana and Houston. Just what you were talking about in the open, Alan. Without Jordan and Oakley, this isn't much of a star team.
Harper outside, Tarpley holding off Poquette, no whistles blow, or maybe it's Poquette holding off Tarpley. Bulls have turned it over 7 times so far. Mavericks have yet to be called for a turnover.
The stat sheet suggests the Mavericks have about 3 minutes here where Jordan will not be on the floor to do something with it.
Sellers misses as the Bulls get the second chance, and Tarpley chases it down, and here's Schrempf trying to up-tempo the game. drives.
Oh!
And Detlef Schrempf with the finger roll flip to make it a 9-point Maverick lead, their largest.
Where have you been, Detlef Schrempf?
His first points of the game. In the last 2, he has been 1 for 8 from the field. And it's been going that way for Detlef for about a month now. Here's Sellers. And Granville Waiters crashing in, gets the offensive tip. Mavericks swing it to Perkins, top of the key.
This might be a nice time to get Aguirre back in the game. It would force Chicago to do some substituting.
Illegal defense is going to be called on Waiters, so the Mavericks will get a new 24. Waiters was the starting center early. He started the first 25 games. All of a sudden it's disappeared, playing in only 8 of the last 31. Mavericks stop play with about 7.5 minutes to go before intermission. Doug Collins trying to regroup the Bulls, who are on the short end of a 7-point Dallas lead, as Schrempf with a nice finger roll in the paint.
Coming up for you on HSE for Maverick telecasts. This Saturday, the 21st of March, the Pistons are in. Then we take a long break as the Mavericks hit the road, but come back with back-to-back games the 3rd and 4th of April with Western Side foes Golden State and Utah.
Quick check of the Budweiser scoreboard on this Tuesday night. Cleveland on top of New Jersey. That one in the 3rd quarter at the Meadowlands.
Oh.
And the Nuggets blowing out the Knicks. Boy, the Knicks with more injuries along that front line. And Atlanta apparently going to make it 11 in a row. Boston, Milwaukee. That's got to be in the 3rd quarter, doesn't it? It's their 2nd period. Barkley gets his own rebound. Back into the paint, but he travels.
Allen, actually, at the end of 1 quarter, it was 35-33 Milwaukee, so that may well be late 2nd quarter in Milwaukee.
Okay, maybe it is. You just think about the Bucks with that defense there, and you don't see them playing many 60-point games, and they're still going in the first half. But I should have known our guys wouldn't make a mistake.
Hey.
Bulls continue to go without Jordan as they look to cut it to 5. With a 1 rebound advantage so far. Poquet all the way around, and he's got 4. Mavericks working with the 2 small guards, Harper and Davis. Here's Perkins. Ball is tipped to Sellers for the board. Ahead to 3. 1-man possession for Sadale Reed, who knocks it home. It's a 3-point game.
Alan, what bothers me about Dallas is there are no intimidators on the floor for Chicago now, and Dallas is shooting 20-foot jump shots. This club should be pounding the ball inside against this lineup. Valid point.
But the Mavericks playing around the perimeter, and Perkins will pull it out with the shot clock down to 6. Schrempf looking to drive here. Sellers reaches in, knocks it to 3. And the Bulls can get to within 1. But from behind, Tarpley blocked the shot by 3. Schrempf tries to make the tough pass and can't. Jordan will sub back in for the Bulls, who have the ball, looking to get to within a point. Meanwhile, Donaldson, Aguirre, and Blackman back on.
Well,
for Tarpley, Schrempf, and Davis.
Dallas missed a big shot at the Bulls reserves. Jordan's back on the floor now, and the reserves actually outscored Dallas.
And he'll again contend with Roe Blackman, who subs back in for the Mavericks. Perkins bothers Poquet, who eventually gets the ball to Paxson, who knocks in another 2, and the Bulls are within a point as we go under 5:40 in the first half. And this is an 8-point run by Chicago. Aguirre being covered by Jordan, and Mark takes him inside, and Paxson, the helping defender, will get called for the foul. His 2nd, and the first this quarter on either team.
The Bulls reserves did well, and Waiters has been rewarded for how well he's doing by continuing in the game.
As Oakley has returned, and Aguirre easily the leading scorer with 12, 4 baskets and 4 free throws in the first quarter. Boy, Mark was credited with 2 steals and 2 blocked shots in that first period, as well as 4 rebounds and 4 of 5 shooting. That's his first miss from the line. Banks is back on for Chicago as well, replacing Brad Sellers. Mavericks will keep it alive as Aguirre. Well, now players hit the floor. And we're going to have Oakley and Aguirre jump it, I believe, as Banks was also on the floor.
Banks from that fine Duke team that had Mike Chiminski, Jim Spinarco, Ken Denard, all of whom played pro basketball, and originally one of the terrific players in the West Philadelphia Speed Boys.
Well, you know, watching Sam Perkins and Michael Jordan, realizing they played together along with James Worthy. How did those guys ever lose a game at North Carolina?
Yeah, you really do wonder, don't you?
Not a bad group. Oakley controls the tip to Jordan, who will saunter into the front court. Leans in, and Michael Jordan goes into double figures as the Bulls take the lead with a 10-point run now.
I get a feeling the last 5 minutes of this quarter will be the Michael Jordan show. He just looked like he had that look in his eye when he came down the floor that time.
But Blackman answers against Jordan, and he has equaled Michael's 10 points here in the first half. And again, they get the ball to Jordan. Goes low to Waiters with about a 2-foot shot and make it a 12-2 run by Chicago.
And notice the pace of the game. We've gotten almost to a walk pace here. That's definitely Chicago's pace.
Banks all over Aguirre, and a second illegal defense call against the Bulls. And this will give the Mavericks the technical, as Doug Collins, four-time All-Star as a player, said he wasn't going to shave until the Bulls won a road game, and that was 9 days ago after they beat the Mavericks in overtime. But he obviously has reneged. Very smooth-faced Doug Collins in attendance.
Either that or his beard doesn't grow very fast.
Well, if that's all the beard he's grown in 9 days, that wasn't much of a threat, was it?
No, it really wasn't.
Roe Blackman makes it 3 misses in a row for the line at the Mavericks, and Roe, the 8th best free throw shooter in the league.
That snaps his string, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was 20 in a row. Here's Harper.
Alan, I don't understand. Either the Mavericks were left with two thoughts here. Either they can't get the ball inside or don't want to get the ball inside.
And the Bulls continue to get the ball to Jordan, who triggers the offense. Whereas in the first quarter, he was going down the floor and letting Paxson bring it over. Misses here. And the Mavericks can take the advantage back with a hoop. And Blackman to give it to him.
Another outside jump shot. I'm telling you, Dallas is going to get beat. If this offense doesn't...
Look out. Look out. Oh, yeah. Showtime at Reunion, and the crowd enjoys that, even if it is 2 points for the bad guys, as Jordan with the leaning slam dunk. Watch the position of his body. You think he can take off or what?
The Bulls got to start getting inside. All right, somebody at least took it to the hole.
Foul is going to be on Jordan, his second. That's his second team foul against the Bulls, second on Michael. And again, we'll go to the floor.
Watch him get his head out the way out of the backboard. Ooh.
And he had to pick up his own momentum there. Blackman can't convert, and Oakley. Realize Oakley, in the same amount of games, has 51 more boards than does James Donaldson, and Oakley is only 6'9". This is a rebounder. And the Bulls will play for a 5-point lead, but can't get it as Jordan's pass down low goes awry, and Waiters fouls Sam Perkins. Jordan trying to make the tough pass, and Donaldson got a hand on it.
A lot of bodies on the floor after this one.
We go under 3 minutes, and the pace has really fallen off, and that's to the liking of Chicago. Aguirre against Banks. Waiters with the block. Oakley with another board, and the outlet off of Jordan's hands as Oakley again throws it away, and the Bulls' biggest deficit tonight, the turnover. Timeout will be called with 2:42. Dallas shooting the ball very poorly as they've now fallen behind Chicago and Michael Jordan by 3 points.
About the Mavericks play calling, Alan, and that's Aguirre's coming outside. They've just totally forsaken the post-up play with Aguirre that worked so well in the first quarter.
Donaldson posting up Waiters and hooking the ball over him, and Donaldson now goes into double figures. Mavericks with that hoop, only 7 of 17 shooting this quarter. Bulls are 10 of 16, but the Mavericks have passed Chicago in the rebounding department, now with an overall 19-18 advantage. Here's Jordan against Aguirre to the baseline, off the glass. And Perkins brings it down.
At least they've gone back inside. Let's see if they'll do it again. There it is. There it is.
And Aguirre's first points this quarter gets him to 14. Bulls with 9 turnovers. Dallas only charged with 4. Aguirre out front gets caught for his second, and believe it or not, that's the first foul of the quarter on Dallas with only 1 minute and 46 seconds to go. Dallas has been to the line 3 times this period and missed all 3. Here's Jordan. Oakley careening into the lane, and they'll call traveling on Charles Oakley. So the Bulls in the double-figure turnovers already. That is their 10th, as Doug Collins gives the call to the former Maverick Elston Turner from Ole Miss, who goes to the scorer's table as Dallas looks to stretch it to a 3-point advantage. And again, Aguirre is high, but Donaldson is posting low against Waiters.
Yep. Alan, strangely, from the time we made the remark about the post-up plays, they've run 3 in a row and they've gotten 3 buckets.
And Donaldson in the double figures already, and that is 5 straight games in double figures for James, and that hasn't happened before this season. Threet leans in. Oh, boy, that one looked like it wanted to come out. Rolled back through. Harper beats the defense.
Again inside. 4 straight trips they've gotten inside on Chicago.
Threet in trouble in the backcourt as we're under a minute. And Jordan has not been stopped, but has been slowed down here in the first half. To Oakley. Mavericks reach in with 7 seconds on the shot clock. And we get Elston Turner on for Michael Jordan. Jordan, who leads the league in minutes played. And Doug Collins trying to get him a few extra seconds of rest right before the half. Realize that Jordan averages 40 minutes a game. Shot clock is down to 5 as Threet from way outside. Aguirre will pull up. Perkins. As the Mavericks again beat the Bulls down the floor, and all of a sudden it's back to a 5-point Dallas lead as the Bulls will play for the last shot of the half in a second quarter which has been totally dominated by runs, and the Mavericks apparently are going to have the last one. Here's Threet. Gets all the way through. Perkins blocks it to Oakley, who powers in and gets called for the offensive foul, and he pops Sam Perkins to the floor. Mavericks will have 3 seconds as they use their 20-second timeout.
Whoa. Whoa.
And we'll remind you that coming up at halftime tonight on HSC, we'll have a look at Milwaukee Bucks star Terry Cummings. Norm Itzkus will have the latest sports news. A look at the Budweiser scoreboard, a visit with Maverick player personnel director Rick Sun. That's all coming up momentarily here on Home Sports Entertainment.
Dick Motta saves his 20 for just such situations as this, because while some teams tend to fritter away these last few seconds, Dallas does not. Dallas thinks they've got a good chance with a lot of good long-range shooters to get 3 out of a situation like this.
And with only 3 seconds to go, they need to do something in a hurry, and with the 20, they can't move the ball after the timeout. Here's an alley-oop pass meant for Donaldson, and with no one touching the ball, now the Bulls will get to move it back up to their own 3-point line, so they've got a good chance to get off a shot, and Jordan subs back in. Michael 4 of 9 from the field in this half. They get it to Oakley for 3.
Oh, my. Oh.
That one was pretty much on line. Oakley's made 5 of those this half. But the Mavericks, who led by 5 at the end of the first quarter, maintain that advantage through the second. They hold Michael Jordan to 12. Mark Aguirre leads all scorers with 14, and the Mavericks have a 5-point lead after the first half.
The Mavericks lead this game by 5, but this is all Chicago Bulls tempo.
Oh, there's no question about it. The Bulls have set the tempo of this ball game right now, and they're right where they want to be. Unfortunately, they're down 5. Or I should say, unfortunately for them, fortunately for us. But they want to keep the game close. That's Doug Collins' strategy. And if they play it close, the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game in the fourth quarter, they let Michael take over, and he gets a lot of free throws. If you check the number of free throws that he has over the years, he shot something like 250 more free throws than any player in the league. Majority of them are in the fourth quarter.
How do you get the tempo up? How do you force the Bulls to move the ball?
I would think that Dick is going at halftime is going to emphasize a little bit about picking up the defense. Now, you're not going to pick up Michael. You're going to lay off Michael. We've done a nice job on Jordan. Blackman's done a nice job, and the team defense on Jordan has done good. But I think we got to pick up Paxson and we got to pick up Street and force the tempo. Doug is standing up when we make a basket. Slow it down, slow it down. We got to pick it up so they move it down again.
That's Rick Sutton. Now let's go back courtside with Alan Stone.
Okay, thank you, Norman Rick. The official first half stats will show that the Bulls are out shooting the Mavericks from the field 51 to 47%. Neither team getting to the line with any great degree of proficiency. Michael Jordan has shot the only 2 Chicago free throws of the game. Mavericks with a 4 rebound advantage, and the Bulls really having difficulty holding on to the ball. 11 turnovers already. Charles Oakley with 7 of those. That helps offset some of his game-high 9 rebounds. The roar goes up as a fan here has just won an American Airlines vacation by nailing a 3-point shot. He went into a victory trot. Michael Jordan in the first half in 20 minutes was 5 of 10 shooting. The 2 free throws, no boards, 3 assists, no steals, and 1 turnover. Aguirre leading all scorers on 5 of 8 shooting, 4 of 6 foul shots. He has shot 6 of the 7 Dallas free throws. He is second in rebounding with 5 to Sam Perkins' 7. James Donaldson only credited with 4 rebounds in the first half. Derek Harper with 5 assists for the Mavericks. As we get ready to return to action with the Mavericks leading it by 5, and really in a game of this pace, no one, particularly with a hot hand. James Donaldson 6 of 8 shooting, the best on either team. Harper throws the ball away to start the quarter, and that is the Mavericks' 6th turnover of the ball game, as Dick Motta with glasses maybe wants to get a better look at Michael Jordan.
Now he takes them off. Maybe he doesn't want to get a better look at Michael Jordan.
Maybe that last pass by Harper convinced him he doesn't really want to see this game any closer than he has to. Here's Corzine. The wire can't hit, but Corzine will get it back. Loses it to Perkins. Ahead to Harper. Bounces the ball off Jordan's legs.
Alan, there's something missing from the Mavericks tonight. I don't know what it is. It's like 3% or 5% of the attention doesn't quite seem to be there this evening.
I'm sure Chicago's got the same drive though with all those turnovers.
Yeah.
Corzine to go in at 12 turnovers for them, and here's Perkins way outside. Donaldson gets the board against Corzine. And Donaldson now matches Mark Aguirre's game-high scoring with 14. And who would have thought already in the third quarter that James Donaldson would have more points than Michael Jordan? Perkins and Oakley have collided, and Perkins is down. Mavericks with a 4-on-5 still get the open layup by Derek Harper. But here's Sam Perkins as he and Oakley really hit hard. Oakley was holding his head for a minute. In fact, at the other end of the floor, he still is. But he's at least upright and trying to walk it off while Perkins is down. And a silence comes over Reunion Arena as Sam Perkins, attended to by Doug Atkinson. Play was away from the ball, and the 2 players just, it appeared to anyway, ran into each other head to head.
This is the second time in a week that Perkins has had a collision in a game.
You may have heard official Dick Bavetta coming over to tell us this is an official's timeout, not charged to either team. There they go. Oh.
Oh, my.
Boy, that will hurt. Perkins still waiting for the cobwebs to lift as Stigmata trying to lighten things a little bit. Has obviously had a bad collision in that the officials called the time and did not charge it to either team.
You know, let me mention something. We are 10:53 in this game. As you see, once again, Oakley and Perkins. Whoa!
Boy, I don't want to see that anymore.
No, thank you. That's the last look we'll give you at that. That makes my head hurt. Al, let me mention something. We're 10 minutes and 53 seconds deep in the game. Have you mentioned a referee's name before that mention of Dick Pavetta?
No. Well, there have been so few fouls called. Let's see. There were a total of 12 fouls called in the half and only 9 free throws shot total. Perkins is going to stay on, believe it or not. Thought for sure they'd sub Roy Tarpley into the game, but no.
Well, we've had games where the officials seem to intrude. This game has been played at a neat pace. There's a moderate amount of banging being allowed, and the game is going on almost without the officials, and that's the way this league is supposed to be played and officiated.
Okay. Here's Corzine. Into the paint. Gets it back. We've seen this before. Corzine with multiple opportunities. That's only his 4th point. And it cuts the Maverick lead down to 7. Here's Perkins posting up Oakley.
In.
Oh, yeah. Perkins pops it through and draws the foul on Charles Oakley.
The one thing you can't do when you're playing the Bulls is let the role players beat you. The Corzines, the Paxsons, the Threets. Oakley and Jordan can beat you. Boy, this is a nice play, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tough angle shot as Perkins way far underneath. And this, only the 2nd free throw by any player on the Mavericks besides Aguirre, and the other one was a technical free throw shot by Ro Blackman. So the Mavericks have stretched it to 10, their largest lead of the game on the 3-point play. Here's Oakley going inside and just bullying his way around James Donaldson, and Oakley now up to 10. And 9 boards in that first half. Here's Aguirre, double team. Reach-in's going to be called on Paxson. And that's his 3rd.
If this lead gets about another 4 or 5 points larger, fatigue may really start to become a factor with the Chicago Bulls. Because you know they've got to be tired. This is their 4th game in 5 nights, their 7th game in 10 days in 6 different cities. And what happens is the body is plenty willing as long as the mind has a reason to keep going. But when you start to see the handwriting on the wall, Alan.
Exactly. And Michael Jordan handling the ball here. Got his average of attempts last night, 28, on his way to a 44-point game, but has only shot the ball 10 times so far tonight. And here passes up the shot, but a wise decision as he gives off to an open Oakley, who is able to dunk. Easy for you to say. And it's down to 8. Here's a foul away from the ball on Gene Banks. You see, Norman, as soon as you started going, bragging on the officials, now they're starting to rack up the personal fouls.
Well, that was called for, though. Dallas is trying to pound the ball inside, trying to get the post-up game working again for them. Now that offensive play's broken down. They post up low on the right.
Donaldson banging on Corzine. Aguirre with the offensive board, but loses it. Mark not a happy camper.
Boy, Aguirre had a huge first quarter. It's been pretty quiet since then.
Has had 1 basket since the first period. Here's Michael Jordan.
Yes. Boy, that's a nice move, isn't it?
Yep. And Corzine, after the offensive board, rattles it home. And you know, Jordan, no doubt, gets a ton of open 15-footers because the defense is sagging, waiting for that blistering drive of his. Here's Oakley with the board. Had Jordan for a minute on the outlet, but decided not to throw it. And you've committed 7 turnovers already. You're not looking to make the hard passes.
No.
Here's Jordan, and Harper gambling gets the steal.
2-on-1. He's got Aguirre on the wing. No need to give it to him. Oh, well played by Harper at both ends of the floor.
Just sort of melted John Paxson right out of the play. And the lead is back to 8.
Get a feeling the Bulls are clearing the floor for Jordan here?
Yes.
Oh,
another
look at
tough pass to Banks. First points of the night for Gene Banks, and a great pass by Jordan.
When people ask why the rest of the Bulls aren't jealous about all the attention that Jordan gets and all the shots he gets, that's one of the reasons.
Oh, Jordan had a chance for another play in the open floor, and again, Charles Oakley throws it away. As we take a look at Jordan a moment ago with the defense starting to surround him. Well, you could see Michael Jordan's eyes light up. He's been credited with 5 assists, but boy, Oakley, for all the good things he's done on the boards, has really hurt his ball club. Here's Harper again, knifing through the Bulls defense, and he'll go to the line.
Well, this is the type of attack Dallas should put on Chicago. Chicago can't handle Dallas one-on-one, quite honestly. And there are several mismatches there, and instead of taking outside jumpers, hammer the ball at Chicago.
Well, you know, it's interesting to watch the different coaching styles. Dick Motta, like the coaches of his era, Bill Fitch, Jack Ramsey, really do just a lot of standing and watching. The younger former player coaches just constantly after it. Doug Collins is leaning and lecturing some of the players at the far end of his bench. He's been doing that all night long. Harper with 6 this quarter. Now up to double figures.
Here's a little bit of what Rick Sund recommended at halftime. Harper pressuring Paxson a little bit, and it results in a one-person possession.
Harper looking to up-tempo it, but has to pull it out. And will shoot over Paxson. Jordan with the rebound.
Look out.
Another good pass. This one to Paxson underneath. Jordan eventually gets it back to Paxson. Another one in and out. Corzine tries to keep it alive, but there's Harper, who appears to be everywhere this quarter. Perkins with the offensive board. Third time it goes. The Mavericks stretch it back to 10. And the Bulls will call time with 7:08 to go in the third. Doug Collins not happy with the way the third quarter is going, as his team trails the Mavericks by 10.
Clock from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Will replay the game at 8 o'clock that night. That's the Women's East Regional. Live on Thursday on HSE. And Alan, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Our friend Charles Oakley is about to hit triple doubles. He's got double-figure points. He's got double-figure boards. He's nearing double-figure turnovers.
You love to kick a guy when he's down. Brad Sellers is on for the Bulls. He played 10 minutes in the first half. Got 3 boards but no points. Here's Jordan. Work on Blackman. It doesn't seem to be working, the magic for Michael Jordan so far tonight.
Well, let me point out, Alan, that several of Oakley's passes have endangered your and my well-being.
Mavericks fumble it out of bounds. And the game remains at 10.
Boy, the Bulls look tired right now. This is a place that Dallas could break the game open. The problem is if you don't going into the fourth quarter, they'll just put the ball in Jordan's hands the whole quarter, just like this.
Again, Jordan has to give it up to Brad Sellers, who connects for the first time tonight. Against Washington last Saturday, he had 25 points in 41 minutes. Wire is short. Jordan pulls down the rebound, hits the floor, fumbles the ball away. And Jordan is waiting for a foul call that's not going to come.
I don't understand the Maverick offense. I don't understand just not slamming the ball right in the Bulls' throat. It works every time they get it down low.
Perkins looks to drive. Tough shot.
Take the ball to the hole against the tired team.
7-point third quarter for Sam Perkins. And again, the lead is at 10. And here's Corzine.
Ooh.
He's got 6 in the period. His 5th year with the Bulls, his 9th in the league out of DePaul.
Didn't Dick Motta coach him in Washington for a while?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Yep, and check.
And that's foul number 3 on Michael Jordan.
That's already more fouls per game than Jordan averages.
And it'll put the Mavericks on the line as it is the 5th team foul. Dallas has yet to be called for a team foul, and realize Mavericks have been called for a total of 4 team fouls in 2.5 quarters.
Is that all?
3 in the first, 1 in the second, and none so far in the third.
Well, they're not turning the ball over and they're not fouling. That's usually a pretty good pair of prescriptions for winning a basketball game.
Yes, indeed. Blackman with 28 when these two teams last met. and over the last 11 games has been scoring at a pace of just under 24 a game and shooting the ball at a 54% clip. That free throw there is his 11th point. He missed one in the first half. It snapped a string of 20 in a row, and so he starts another one with these two. Jordan, there he goes into the air. And that's the thing about Michael Jordan. Once he gets up there, it just seems like he never comes down. His first points of the half, and he's got 14.
Yeah, if the Wright brothers could have stayed off the ground as long as Michael Jordan, they'd have been hailed much sooner in this country.
Might never come around to the airplane.
That's right.
Harper with a big period, 8 of his 12. And this is usually the sign that Jordan is going to try to take over the offense. They let Michael bring the ball up so that he's the point man.
Good job, Blackman, cutting off the return pass.
And now the first foul of the third quarter on the Mavericks. No, it's an illegal defense call, I think. Yes. So that's the first warning of the game against the Mavericks.
Tell you what, very smart play there by Rolando Blackman. They've moved Jordan to point so that he can handle the ball. Once he gives it up, keep him from getting it back. Cut off the passing lanes here. Good job again by Blackman. Look at that.
You saw that last stat really shows what a key turnovers have been, because the Mavericks lead by 10 and they've got a 9-point edge in points over turnovers, and there's Brad Sellers turning it over.
Congratulations. That turnover goes directly to Ro Blackman, who twice cut off inlet passes to Jordan, and the Bulls simply messed up the play when they couldn't get it into their man.
And the frustration starting to mount for Doug Collins as his team is down again tonight, and a loss this evening would be 6 in a row.
Harper posting up. Oh.
McGuire low, but couldn't get the reverse. And here we go again as the Bulls turn it over, as the Mavericks, realizing that Chicago will try to get into the hands of Jordan, force the bad pass. Tarpley is on for Sam Perkins. Boy, the turnovers are really killing the Bulls.
Idea is get it inside.
Mavericks around the perimeter. And here's a 3-second call on James Donaldson. So the Mavericks turn it over for the 8th time tonight as Granville Waiters checks back into the game, and for Corzine, who has been the majority of Chicago's offense this third quarter.
Thing is, the Mavericks have a nice 10-point lead right now, but they're not putting the Bulls away while the Bulls are playing wretchedly in this third quarter.
Here's Jordan. What a tough attempt that was. Wouldn't go. Donaldson is there. Now the Mavericks looked up tempo as McGuire against Sellers. McGuire up to 18 as he deals on the rookie.
Again, more guard pressure. Another thing Rick Sund indicated Dallas might do in the second half.
Largest lead of the night now for the Mavericks.
Chicago running all sorts of plays to free Jordan.
And Oakley crashing the boards, his specialty, and it cuts the Maverick advantage back to 10.
How did McGuire get stuck trying to block out Oakley?
Mark's probably asking the same thing. James, Roy, where are you when I need you?
Yeah, this beast isn't mine. Oh, look at this move. Again, take it to the hole against the Bulls, and Dallas is really starting to do that now.
And on a night when many of these people showed up to see Michael Jordan, it is so far the Mark McGuire show. Mark with 20 to Jordan's 14. Illegal defense call against Dallas will negate the three-pointer by Paxson. Would have been his second. Donaldson gets called for the illegal D. Bulls will shoot the technical and get the ball back, but first a timeout is called with 2:52 still to go in the third. The Mavericks have stretched their 5-point lead to 12 here in the third quarter as Mark McGuire goes to work on the rookie Brad Sellers out of Ohio State.
Blackman's done a marvelous job keeping the ball away from him.
Held Jordan to 14. Michael will shoot the technical free throw here as you see Blackman conferring with McGuire.
Tell you what, Alan, if Dallas runs away and hides in this game. It won't be unusual because a lot of that's going on in the league tonight. Look at this.
Boy, Cleveland plowing New Jersey. Denver in Madison Square Garden.
Here's another one, pal.
Ooh. Dominique with 43 tonight in Atlanta's win. This is an 11-point game after the technical free throw. Get the ball to Jordan, and Rolando Blackman's going to be called for the hold.
That's okay. That's okay. The Mavericks have not committed a team foul up to Len. All you want to do is, if you have to commit the foul and push when you had no other team fouls, that's fine.
I don't want to send Jordan to the line. He's on a current streak of 17 in a row now, at least. He had 14 of 14 last night. 3 of 3 so far this evening. 3 nearly turns it over. Here's Waiters.
Oh!
Oakley can't get the offensive board. Tarpley's hurt a little bit. Kind of ugly.
Yes.
And Sadale Threet's going to be called for the foul.
Mark Aguirre's patented 1-on-4 fast break.
Dallas already into the penalty as Threet challenging Aguirre big time. And Mark continues to go to the line. This will be free throw attempts 9 and 10 tonight. And the Mavericks getting to the line this quarter. This will be for their team 9 attempts this quarter, and realize that the only free throw shot by the Bulls was that technical by Jordan after the second illegal defense call on Dallas.
One of the marks of a tired team, which Chicago is right now, is that you'll reach, you'll grab, you'll push, you'll make decisions defensively you wouldn't normally make, and the fouls will start to pile up.
And this is now the largest lead of the game. Jordan just can't hit. 6 of 14. Here's Oakley. Oakley works that baseline.
Root.
And he's got 16 now. So he's the leading Bulls scorer in the game. Realize Jordan has led him in scoring in all but 2 games this year. Blackman against Jordan.
Ooh, what a shot. Right over the top of Jordan's head.
That's 14 for Roe Blackman.
That's a guard's version of in your face or over your head. Jordan to reply. No.
Here's Threet. A long rainbow jumper for Sadale Threet, who has responded tonight. He's got 10 off the bench and been averaging playing just a tad under 30 minutes a game the last couple outings, even though he's not starting. Here's Oakley.
Boy, Harper just cannot hit the jump shots lately, can he?
Nope. And they get it to Jordan on the left side. Give and go, not a give and go, but a pick and roll play to Oakley, and they're going to call Oakley for traveling inside, and Charles says, not another turnover. That's his 9th turnover of the game, and that gets Doug Collins up off the Chicago bench.
Again, Oakley needs one more for a weird triple-double. Points, rebounds, and turnovers. And one.
Aguirre against Sellers lights him up again. The rookie out of Ohio State. That's his 3rd. And Aguirre with 24 now.
Alan, I don't know. I know Dick Motta wants to spread the ball around, okay? But until Chicago did something about this play, I'd run this play every time down the floor.
It must be quite a temptation. Ben Poquet is on for Sellers.
Oh, boy. Is Ben going to get to cover Mark now?
Gentle Ben.
Good guy. One of the league's truly good.
10-year pro out of Central Michigan. Aguirre can't finish the 3-point play. So he remains with as many points as the number on his jersey, 24. Here's Jordan. Again, gives it up to Oakley and takes it home. Boy, I tell you, Jordan's going to get his share of assists tonight. Some fine passes, and Oakley has been the recipient of most of them.
Nice recovery by Threet on a spin move by Harper, and here comes Oakley. Look out for the women and children.
Ooh, almost got it anyway as Harper commits a foul.
Breakaway is what Doug Collins is asking official Lee Jones.
Not going to get it, though. That's only the 2nd team foul against the Mavericks as Oakley good to steal.
Lazy pass by Harper. Could it have been a breakaway?
No,
he reached for the ball.
He had a shot at the ball.
Good call.
Oakley with 16 points, 13 rebounds, 9 turnovers. Oakley We've kidded him a little bit. This is a fine basketball player. Second in the league to Charles Barkley in rebounding and gets you 14.5 points a game. Made the all-rookie team last year. Had 26 rebounds in one game last year against Milwaukee. Maverick advantage is 9 with 25 seconds to go in the third. Here's Aguirre with a screen on Poquet. And Aguirre has 26.
I don't believe they can cover Aguirre right now. Alan, how do you think the Cleveland Cavaliers feel about trading Oakley for Keith Lee?
Bulls playing for the last shot of the quarter. Here's Tarpley on Jordan. Michael trying a tough reverse shot as it's snuffed with 3 seconds on the clock.
Is that an Aguirre block?
I'm not sure who that was for the Mavericks. Somebody swallowed up Jordan on the baseline. Here's Aguirre stealing the ball. Gets it off in time on the side of the backboard. And the Mavericks in pretty good shape in this one. They've had control of the lead almost the entirety of this ball game, and they'll take an 11-point advantage in the final 12 minutes over a Chicago Bulls team that's trying to break a 5-game losing streak.
For basketball talent, here's your chance to put it to the test. Be with us Saturday night right after Alan and I broadcast that fine Pistons team coming into Reunion Arena for the Texas High School basketball shootout. Try to pick out the future NBA stars. That's Saturday night right after the Mavericks game.
Mavericks really in good shape, and they're getting to the line now. 13 of 17 free throws for Dallas. The Bulls have shot 5 free throws in 3 quarters. They've made all 5 of them, but that's an 8-point spread for the Mavericks from the line. Dallas also starting to control the boards, 33 to 29. As you see, Snake LeGrand has finished his tenure at University of Texas at Arlington as their basketball coach, and now probably with a little bit too much time off, but enjoying himself at the Mavericks game tonight. And here's Jordan.
Till the day he dies, Snake LeGrand will smile.
Yes. Here's Jordan to the basket. Fouled on the drive. And if the Bulls are going to get back in the ball game, we may see a lot of this. Give it to Michael, let him drive, and see what happens. That's a second foul on Tarpley. Mavericks, since the All-Star break, are 11-7 as they come in tonight 18 games over 500 and really cruising through the Midwest Division. Their biggest concern right now, Norm, is trying to hold off Portland to assure themselves a second place in the conference.
Amen. And Portland gets what should be a W tonight against the Clippers. And Portland's schedule, quite honestly, is more favorable than Dallas's down the stretch.
Jordan, with his first miss from the line in 18 tries, has 8 assists to go with 16 points. But realize that is 21 under his average.
Dallas must play 5. Dallas owes the road 5.
3-point miss by Brad Davis, and here's Jordan with that trademark tongue sticking out of his mouth to the baseline. Gets it back. Turns on Blackman. Oakley tips it in, but is going to be called for the offensive foul.
I can't remember 2 consecutive minutes that Charles Oakley's been happy tonight. Do you?
No, I tell you what, he is one of these players that only has one gear, and tonight it's hurting him, but you've got to be impressed with the kid's aggressiveness. This is a player. And his mistakes have not made him more passive.
No, he is definitely not your basic shrinking violet.
He's hanging in there as Gene Banks replaced Granville Waiters.
Let me ask you a question. Would you pay to see games between Chicago and Philadelphia with Barkley against Oakley? Boy, you talk about 2 Rams butting heads at the top of the mountain.
Dwyer and Poquet. Well, I guess Poquet's got it. I'm really not sure. Here's Oakley again pulling in. This time they'll say he was fouled. I tell you what.
I tell you what. Charles Oakley is a car crash waiting to happen, isn't he?
Well, look at this. Look at Poquet. He covers about 70 feet and really never has control of the ball.
Pick it up, Ben. Attaboy. dribbling the ball is reminiscent of Bob Uecker's famous line on how you catch the knuckleball. Wait till it stops rolling and pick it up.
That let Shrimp back on. He played 6 minutes in the first half, had 3 boards. But Shrimp seeing his minutes cut as he's been struggling. Also had 2 turnovers, was 1 of 1 shooting.
This is the stretch in the second quarter that Dallas had such troubles because they've really got no post-up player on the floor, and that's the part of their offense that's worked the best.
Reed steps in front of a pass meant for Brad Davis. Gets it to Jordan. No look pass to Oakley for 2. And really, the exciting part of Michael Jordan's game tonight has been the passing game. He has really squeezed off some fine-looking passes. Here's Blackman.
But again, see, the shots are coming.
And Oakley,
feet.
Jordan was open back there, and Oakley didn't see him.
Well, he's thrown about 6 of those away, and he may be, quite frankly, a bit gun-shy by now.
Yeah.
Look out.
And Blackman cuts off the baseline, forces Jordan inside, and Tarpley swallows him up. Brad Davis is not able to save it. As they say, he stepped on the sideline. Much to the consternation of the Maverick faithful. Boy, look at Tarpley come over and give Blackman some help.
This is going to be a good call. Watch the foot of Davis on the sideline. There it is.
Yeah. Not really all that close.
Right now, the Bulls are playing their "Where's Michael" offense.
Reed goes to the baseline, and a 3-second call on the Bulls, and Oakley gets called for another turnover.
That's it. He's done it. That's a turnover charge to Oakley. He's done it. A triple-double for Charles Oakley.
Doug Collins holding up 11. Maybe he tells the rest of his team it's his 11th turnover. Coaches may be keeping their own list.
The Dallas offense just can't get inside. Perkins with a semi-penetration for a hoop, but Dallas needs the post-up players back in as soon as they can get them.
That's 13 for Perkins, and the lead's again back to 9. As the runs that we saw in the first half really haven't been there in the second half. It's just been kind of back and forth as Reed continues to be on. 43% shooter on the year. He's got 6 baskets for 12 points off the bench tonight. Here's Tarpley posting. Tarpley ever active, but Banks picks it up off the floor ahead to 3. Here's another one.
Why not?
And Sedale is on.
The Blade, Sedale, 3.
Realize he's within 2 of Jordan's total as the Bulls back to within 5. And really they're doing it with still not getting much offense from Michael Jordan, who has only 1 point in the quarter.
Well, the problem here is that the Mavericks, the 5 men on the floor, don't play the type of game that's been successful against Chicago. There's Perkins posting up. That's not really his game, but that's the part of the game that's been working for Dallas.
A little jump hook.
Why not fire it up, Sedale?
Here's Banks, and Shrimp's going to be called for the push from behind. 3rd foul against the Mavericks this quarter, and now the Bulls have yet to be called for a team foul. Roe Blackman, no, he's just, yeah, he's out of the game as Harper's back on, and Dave Corzine will return for Oakley.
Golly, Allen, this is even less of an offensive lineup on the floor for the Mavericks now.
Well, Paxson's on for Jordan, so the Bulls are minus their 2 big scorers too. And here's Paxson. Will chase it down in the corner. Here's Corzine.
Nice shot.
And again, it's a 5-point game as Corzine has 10. That's a 2 above his average.
You get the feeling this crowd is terribly uncomfortable, really. Oh, Perkins goes inside. Perkins showing us an inside game this evening.
And Sam has 17, 6 in this quarter. He's got all of Dallas's points in this quarter. Here's Corzine. Coquette with the offensive board, but can't finish. Banks hammered. And now the Mavericks, who've avoided foul trouble all night, are starting to get a bit of difficulty, as that's 4 team fouls. And the 3rd on Tarpley.
I was about to ask you, do you get a feeling yourself and in the arena of a lot of discomfort, the crowd realizing, hey, 5-7 points with Michael Jordan in a couple minutes is nothing?
Yeah. I agree. It's been a funny sort of a game, one in which the Mavericks seemingly with control, but not really. Here's Gene Banks, who missed the first 17 games of the season with a broken foot. But most of his pro career with the San Antonio Spurs, second-round pick in '81, and came to Chicago in a trade for Steve Johnson, who, of course, has moved on to Portland and has really blossomed this year.
Post-up game again.
Here's Davis. The Mavericks able to do what needs to be done. That's the first points of the game for Brad Davis. And again, the Mavericks are able to hold off Chicago. It's a 7-point game. Poquette against Davis. And that'll put Chicago in the penalty with 6:51 to go. And you start thinking about Michael Jordan coming back, realize that every time he gets fouled the rest of the game, he's going to shoot free throws, as Sam Perkins by himself has helped hold off the Chicago Bulls in this quarter as the Mavericks continue to lead it here by 7.
They're leading the Midwest Division and looking for that division title at the end of the season. Their next opponent, the Detroit Pistons, are looking to capture the Central Division title and have a half-game lead over a hard-charging Atlanta. Be sure to be with us Saturday night at 7:30. These two teams match up right here on HSE. And Alan, isn't that an outstanding defensive stat about the Pistons recently?
Yeah, they've held how many opponents in a row under 100?
5 in a row in this league? Wow.
And not a team that's usually thought of as a defensive juggernaut. By the way, we've mentioned a couple of times that after that game Saturday night, the Mavericks go on a week-long Eastern Conference road trip. And Channel 11 will televise 3 of those games. Monday night from Philadelphia, Thursday night from Atlanta, and Saturday night from Washington. Poquette only able to convert 1 of 2. He's an 82% foul shooter. And the lead is at 6. Neither team making any changes during that timeout. Here's Perkins again, and Perkins with 8 in the period. Here's 3 to Poquette. Donaldson is back on. That is one change during the timeout. Shrimp with the ball. Like Donaldson got a piece of the shot by Poquette. Donaldson gets pushed by Corzine, a rather obvious foul, and that's the first foul of the quarter against the Bulls. As here comes Jordan and Oakley for the stretch run with 6:05 to go. The lead is at 8, but Donaldson's at the line with a shot to push it back into double figures. Sedale Threed, who's given the Bulls quite a lift off the bench, and Ben Poquette depart. Mavericks get Roe Blackman back on, and boy, he has, excuse me, Norm, he has literally been Michael Jordan's shadow.
Yeah, he has. Speaking of shadow, that's Pete Meyer's nickname. The kid sitting far into the Chicago bench because he gets to draw him every day in practice. Meanwhile, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, where's Aguirre?
Resting comfortably. Donaldson with 8 boards tonight, rather subpar, but 15 points. Coming off a huge game Saturday night against Houston when he was our post-game guest with 14 points, 21 boards, and 3 blocks.
Mavericks doing a good job of taking care of business. Still up 10 as we're halfway through the 4th quarter.
And here comes Michael J. Donaldson comes over to help in the double team, and Oakley inside. Who gets the tip? Corzine. He's up to 12. And again, it's an 8-point game. Jordan doing an excellent job of realizing all the defensive pressure. And tonight, instead of forcing it, he's giving the ball up, and he has 9 assists so far. Perkins. And Perkins showing his former North Carolina teammate Michael Jordan, hey, I got a few moves of my own. And in fact, Perkins has now scored 5 more points than has Jordan. Banks wide open. Oakley with another rebound, his 16th of the game. And Oakley goes down, and Jordan for 3.
Oh, my.
That's only the 9th three-pointer that has gone for Michael Jordan this season, but it makes it a 7-point game.
And again, the Chicago rebounding work keeping him in the game. The second chance baskets.
17 boards for Oakley.
You know, in his last 9 games, he's only been under 15 rebounds once.
Ouch.
And never under 12.
Blackman with a good drive to the basket. That'll send him to the free throw line. Well, it's been ended a stat that the rare triple-double by Oakley of 23 points, 17 boards, and 10 turnovers breaks a Dallas opponent turnover record of 9 by Magic Johnson, set a little over 3 years ago.
And the Big Oaks got 5 minutes yet to add to it.
Little did Charles Oakley think he would break one of Magic Johnson's ball handling records, albeit a highly negative one.
I'll bet you Magic's happy to have his name out of the record book tonight.
That's a Dallas opponent record, by the way. Blackman misses his second free throw of the night.
And this is takeover time for Jordan, typically with this club.
If he's going to.
Yep.
Here's Jordan to the baseline. Blocked. Blackman gets called for the foul. And we'll repeat what we said earlier. The Bulls in the penalty now. So every time this happens, it's going to be free throws. Jordan is 4 of 5 tonight from the line. Boy, I tell you, you've reached a level when you're standing at the line, making that free throw, that gives you 20 points in an NBA game on the road, and everybody's sorely disappointed in your performance.
Yeah, you're barely past halfway to your average.
That's what you call setting quite some level for yourself. Jordan from the field tonight, as Craig Kleber hands us the stats, 6 of 15 shooting. So he has got to get 13 more shots off just to get his average of attempts in a game. Aguirre double team. They swing it. Harper in the corner. Baseline is open.
Oh!
Jackknifes in 2. He's got 14.
How did he do it?
A Michael Jordan type move.
Now Dallas committing everybody to the defense of Jordan.
And Jordan trying to find the open bull. Paxson for 3.
Out.
That's a third three-pointer of the night for the Bulls. Mavericks don't have any. In Chicago, one of the poorest shooting three-point teams in the league. Here's Harper for 3 to answer. The Mavericks' most prolific three-point shooter nails one.
And the long-lost outside shot of Derek Harper returns at an opportune moment.
Jordan.
Look at this shot.
Loose ball foul on Gene Banks. So the Mavericks only one more Chicago foul away from getting into the penalty themselves, as Dallas will look to stretch it back to a double-figure lead as we head down toward the 3-minute mark. Gets called for the foul, and that will put Dallas into the penalty.
Well, you got a feel for Oakley tonight. He knows that a lot of his bad passes have contributed heavily to this 8-point deficit. 3-4 of them were on open court situations where if the pass was made well, Chicago might have zipped down to the far end and put the ball in a hoop.
Perkins with 11 boards, 2 blocks, and 21 points. He's coming off a 25-point, 10-rebound, 3-block shot game. Remember Rick Sun saying the other day, it is games like Sam had Saturday night and tonight that make you wonder why he can't do this sort of thing more often.
He certainly has been everything in the fourth quarter. Mavericks have 21 points in the quarter. Now 22, and Perkins has 12 of the 22.
Aguirre has none, and Ro Blackman has 1, and that usually is very much of a negative for the Mavericks, but not really hurting them here. Boy, and Blackman just making Michael Jordan wear him like a tight-fitting sport coat. Corzine. Tough off-balance shot, and Perkins is there. Boy, give Rolando Blackman a lot of credit. He is just not giving Michael Jordan anywhere to go. 2.5 minutes to go as Jordan gambling for the steal and ends up catching Dick Motta. And Dick and Michael have a little laugh on that one. Dick says that's about as close to having Michael Jordan as I may ever come.
That is as close as he's ever going to come.
Jordan and Motta. Dick says that's a foul. Michael, you wrap me up. Mavericks by 10 down the stretch.
Things are rocking here in Reunion, but baseball's starting now. It's only not only the Major League Baseball that HSE has in store for you. Tomorrow we'll have a college baseball telecast for you live at 7 o'clock. The UTA Moving Mavs visit the LSU Tigers. We'll have live coverage from Louisiana. College baseball tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Mavericks have made their last 7 field goal attempts. As they tighten the screws on the Bulls, the 10-point game with 2.5 minutes to go, and Dallas with the ball with 6 seconds on the shot clock. And Blackman will look to drive on Jordan. Perkins sandwiched, and 2 more free throws for Sam Perkins.
Tell you what, Alan, something good is happening to Sam. The question is how long it'll continue, but the last couple of games, he's taken over games.
Yes, that's a very good point. He's had double-doubles 3 of the last 4, and over the last 6 games, been scoring at about an 18-point-a-game clip, rebounding at about 9. And as you say, most of his points here have come down the stretch, where he's got 13 of his 24.
And they're not quiet double-doubles. They're key points. Post up, take it to the hole, get the offensive board, jam it back up.
Saturday night against Houston, he had 16 of his 25 in the second half. Was shackled by foul trouble Friday night against Atlanta. As Harper and Aguirre collapsed on Paxson, but Aguirre, they'll say, kicked it over the sideline. Dick Motta unhappy with that call made by Dick Pavetta. If you're wondering if this is the lowest scoring game Jordan has had this year, it's not. He's had 11. But he's 7 of 17 shooting tonight. Aguirre gets called for the foul here. And the Bulls are apparently on their way to their 6th consecutive loss. They get the Clippers next at the LA Sports Arena. Then they move on to Sacramento and then Portland before they conclude this road trip.
Who do you think is going to cover Jordan for the Clippers?
Probably Don Chaney.
He may be able to do the best job.
11-point game as we wind down toward 2 minutes. Perkins. Here's Harper for 3. Nice looking pass. Dave Corzine. There's Oakley. Oh, but Banks. And Perkins. And Banks reaches in as the frustration starts to mount on a Chicago Bulls team, which can't get it done. And they are apparently going to fall to 8 and 23 on the road. And Sam Perkins' 14th rebound is going to result apparently in points for the Mavericks. Perkins is a perfect 5 of 5 from the line tonight. Norm, he came in as an 83% foul shooter, so he's pushing that up for the magic 85% plateau.
Well, consider what some of the people on this club shoot. Blackman came in at 88, Perkins at 83, Donaldson at 81, Davis at 87, Nutt at 94. You got some guys on this club could knock it down from the line. 15
points in the quarter for Sam Perkins. That is 15 of the team's 25. And another.
I don't believe he's touched iron with any of his free throws tonight. Sam's really had another nice game. Tell you what, though, the guy with the 22 on his jersey deserves a great deal of credit for what he's done to Jordan.
Michael barely hits the front of the rim with this one. Boy, Jordan just not even close to having a representative game again tonight. So he just continues to have never had a Michael Jordan-type game against the Dallas Mavericks.
Post-up game for Aguirre. Bingo.
First points of the quarter for Mark Aguirre, who's got 28. Here's Oakley for three. And another rebound for Perkins as the Mavericks, we go under a minute, are enjoying their largest lead of the night.
Another 5-play called out, again for Aguirre. The ball will go into Perkins. The ball will go into Perkins.
Aguirre's going to launch up a three. 39th three-pointer of the season for Mark Aguirre. Don Carter, the Mavericks owner, gives his approval. Here's Banks for three. Ooh. Donaldson mugged by Oakley, but the ball comes down to Harper.
And Alan, look at the pace. The pace got away from Chicago in the second half. They held Dallas to 54 in the first half, but Dallas has a 64-point second half, and that's the difference.
And an 18-point lead as Aguirre goes for two in a row on the threes. This should do it.
Give it to Sam. Let him fire a three.
Harper's going to dribble out the clock and exchange high fives with Sam Perkins, who carried the Mavericks down the fourth quarter tonight. Doug Collins will go to midcourt, looking to congratulate Dick Motta. It's a great game for the Dallas Mavericks tonight as they completely shut the door on Michael Jordan. Hold him to 21 points tonight, 9 in the second half. And the Mavericks go to 42 and 23 on the season as they hand this man his 6th straight loss. For the Mavericks, it's 2 in a row and 3 out of the last 4. And the final score, the Mavericks 114, the Chicago Bulls 96. We'll be back to wrap this one up on Home Sports Entertainment right after this. % for the game to 46% for Chicago. Rebounding is even at 42 apiece, but the Bulls shoot themselves in the foot with 20 turnovers to 10 for the Mavericks. Dallas also shoots 27 free throws to only 17 for the Bulls. Mavericks are led by Mark Aguirre with a game-high 31. Sam Perkins right behind with 27. Derek Harper with 17. James Donaldson 16. Ro Blackman 15 as all of the Mavericks scorers in double figures tonight. Bulls are paced by Charles Oakley with 23, Michael Jordan with 21, and Sadale Threet with 14 off the bench. The executive producer of Home Sports Entertainment is Jack Stanfield. Coverage of tonight's game produced by Jim Feldman, directed by Dave Burchett. Our technical director, Stacy Smith. Engineer in charge, Frank Thomas. Statisticians, Craig Gleber and Bob Thomas. Our graphics coordinator, Kurt Dykert. Associate producer, Greg Maiero. Remote facilities provided by John Crow Productions, Dallas, Houston, and Kansas City. And remember to join us Saturday night at 7:30 for our next HSC telecast as the Mavericks play host to Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons. The final score of tonight's game, the Mavericks stretch it out toward the end, 114-96 over the Chicago Bulls. Stay tuned. The Mavericks postgame show is coming up next on Home Sports Entertainment.
From Reunion Arena in Dallas, Texas, you have been watching Dallas Mavericks basketball. This exclusive premium presentation has been brought to you by The Pride is Back at your Dallas-Fort Worth Chrysler Plymouth dealers, driving to be the best. And by Budweiser, the genuine article, Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And there's more for your world in our world. Sterling Jewelry, official jeweler of the Dallas Mavericks. Tonight's NBA telecast was another exclusive presentation of home sports entertainment, the sports leader for the great Southwest. Welcome to the Dallas Mavericks postgame show, brought to you by the Dallas-Fort Worth Mazda dealers. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value.
The final score looks easier than it was. The Mavericks beat the Bulls by 18 after leading by just 5 at the half. Usually on a post-game show, you have somebody who lit it up 25, 30, 35 points or came off the bench with one great performance. We got a guy on tonight who had 15, and that's 6 under his average. But the key to this basketball game may well have been the fact that Michael Jordan got only 7 baskets tonight, and the credit for that goes to Ro Blackman.
Well, we were just trying to work as hard as I possibly could and get out there and deny him the basketball. I was getting a great deal of help from Sam and the rest of my teammates to make sure to keep him contained and not let him explode, because the guy is just so physically talented. You could see it and actually feel it while you're guarding him.
I got a feeling that as the game wore on, Ro, you were expending so much energy at that end that it actually took away from your offensive game.
Well, it does do that, of course. You can't keep running down the basketball floor and trying to go around screens and shoot the basketball and make moves to the basket when you have to just try to deny this guy the basketball. So I was just trying to keep an offensive punch in there every now and then when I got a good opportunity, but my main focus was just to try to deny Michael the ball. That was the only thing on my mind tonight.
Ro, admittedly, you don't see Michael Jordan all that often, but you played against him now twice in the regular season. You played against him in the All-Star game back in February. What are some of the keys to trying to slow him down?
Well, some of the keys are just trying to deny him the basketball and make him get rid of the basketball. I mean, if it's first play he has a ball or he kicks it off and tries to get it back, to keep the basketball out of his hands, let the other guys try to take the shots and not let him get the second shot. Get the ball out of Michael's hands.
You came into this league as a reputation of being a great defensive player, but you scored 20 points average the last few seasons, so some people try to forget that. It's kind of nice to have a ball game like this and kind of make people remember some of that?
Well, it's kind of nice to have people talk about it, of course. I've been thinking about this the whole season and all throughout, but when you score points and put the points on the board, that's the only thing that you get recognition for, and I'm glad about it. I'm just glad that we won the basketball game and I was able to do a job, and it doesn't say 55 points next to Michael's name.
What about the added emphasis that Richie Adubato has brought? It has reached its peaks and lows during the season, but, I mean, it seems overall there is a much more consistency. I mean, there used to be years when it was pretty predictable that teams would come in here and their big scorers would have big games against the Mavericks, and that's not all the time we're given anymore.
No, there's no doubt that we're a better basketball team. We're a more aggressive basketball team. On certain nights, we'll go out there and we'll slip, that's for sure, and not cover our defensive assignments, but it's not like it hasn't been covered on the board, and it's not like all the assignments haven't been given to us. We have to go out there and put forth the effort and try to do it and execute Richie's defensive plan.
Your thoughts on something. Is playing deny defense, which was what you were doing most of the game tonight, once Jordan got rid of the ball, deny him the right to get it back again. Is that the dirtiest job in basketball?
That's the toughest job. I think guys like Michael Cooper and I wouldn't say Dennis Johnson. He shoots the ball too much. But guys like Michael Cooper who go out there and specifically try to deny the basketball and get you out of your rhythm and not let you score, it's a very, very tough job because you not only have to die on the initial play, but the guy passes the basketball with the thought in mind that he's going to try to set you up now and get the basketball back in the waning seconds, and to keep denying him is the toughest job because you have to expend all this energy, and the team might score again anyway.
Realize, Ro, the job he did on Jordan tonight, this is only the 3rd time in 65 games he's not led the Bulls in scoring.
Well, I just tried to go out there and do the job. The most important thing for us was to try to win the basketball game, and it's like anything else. It's a pride factor. I'm not saying in years to come he might not come out here and score, but it's not going to be because I'm not going to be trying to play defense and deny him the basketball.
For being our star of the game, Rolando Blackman gets a gift certificate from Sterling Jewelry, the official jeweler of the Dallas Mavericks. 2 locations, Dallas on Northwest Highway, plus their Richardson store on Campbell Road. Sterling Jewelry, there's more for your world in our world. Go have a good, well-deserved rest and realize you got a real soft touch Saturday night at home. Vinnie Johnson, you'll put him in your back pocket.
I'm thinking about him already, and definitely I'm going to try to put him in my back pocket this time.
That's Ro Blackman. Al and I come back with scores and NBA notes after these messages.
victory over Chicago. Meanwhile, around the NBA, as we check the Budweiser scoreboard, Cleveland drills the New Jersey Nets at the Meadowlands. Nets had been playing pretty good basketball, Norm.
Boy, they've gone back in the sewer lately, haven't they? And look at the leading rebounder for Cleveland. There's a name hasn't surfaced recently.
Mark West, the former Dallas Maverick of about 3 seasons ago. Ron Harper with a big game with 32.
By the way, that's Cleveland's 6th road win of the year. Here's another team that's got its 6th road win of the year, the Denver Nuggets.
Boy, the Knicks apparently still playing without Ewing, without Cartwright. And let's see, they're
without Oldham.
Yeah, without Juwan Oldham, and they get drilled tonight at Madison Square Garden. Wasn't a good night to go to a basketball game in New York.
No. The Big Apple's going to have some folks crying in a beer tonight. Green beer in New York, as a matter of fact. Trent Tucker gets 31 for New York. Look at how balanced Denver must have been with Alex English, the leading scorer, at 24.
11 in a row for the Atlanta Hawks. No real surprise who leads them in scoring or rebounding.
No, the two beasts were at work tonight. Wilkins and Willis, 43 points for Dominique and 18 boards for big tough Kevin Willis.
Milwaukee always tough at home. They beat the Boston Celtics tonight in a pretty high-scoring ball game, and they're led by an interesting person.
Yeah, that John Lucas should light up Boston for 26 from the point. I tell you what, Alan, if he's cooking, Milwaukee's tough.
And Kevin McHale had 31 for the losers. Golden State. Well, we've got it just the other way around with the Warriors leading the Utah by 2. Either way, a very tight game at Salt Lake City tonight at the half. And later on, Portland at the Clippers, San Antonio at Sacramento. And realize, Norm, with the Mavericks win tonight, 17 games left in the regular season. Mavericks need only 8 more victories to get to 50. 8 and 9 will do it.
Yeah, 50 is 1 point. I think the Mavericks are thinking of the Midwest and 50 right now as almost givens. The key is what's happening with Portland, to stay ahead of Portland for the home court advantage down the line in the playoffs. Portland's on a pace for 50 also very quietly.
And with the Mavericks victory tonight, they can do no worse than maintain their 2-game edge over the Blazers in the Western Conference. NIT scores tonight.
Yeah, I got 3 NIT scores for you. Very late in the second half, just seconds to go. Nebraska is about to eliminate the last Southwest Conference team, playing 77-69 over Arkansas. Southern Mississippi has beaten St. Louis at St. Louis 84-78 in overtime, and LaSalle has upset Niagara at Niagara 89-81.
Mavericks have a road game in Sacramento Thursday. Back to Reunion to play the Pistons on Saturday. Norman, I'll come back to discuss those games right after this. Thursday night, then back to Reunion to play the Pistons on Saturday. You and I were just discussing during the break. That Central Division race is unbelievable. Hawks have won 11 in a row kind of tonight. Pistons 7 in a row. Nobody can get any ground.
Realize poor Milwaukee's situation. I believe Milwaukee's now won 11 of their last 15. By winning of 11 of their last 15, they've lost ground to Atlanta and not gained ground on Detroit.
The Detroit game will be a good test for the Mavericks because the Pistons handled them there, and that's a ball club that the Mavericks are again being compared to. They didn't have much luck in that comparison last Friday with Atlanta.
I'll be interested to see how tough they play Detroit inside. Detroit came back in that game when they put their Moose lineup in there with McFilthy and McDastney, McHorn all rolled into one. Sally and Rodman are active. Lambert's a tough cookie inside. That'll be an interesting match. Tell you what, they better not doze off at Sacramento. That's a place they've dozed off before. That'd be a bad game to get bit coming home and looking ahead to Detroit.
Yeah, and especially with that 5-game and 7-night East Coast road swing awaiting the Mavericks next week. Don't forget to be with us Saturday night at 7:30 for our next HSC telecast as the Mavericks host Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons. Now, this is Alan Stone for Norm Itzkus saying goodnight from Reunion Arena, where Dallas fans are still waiting to see Michael Jordan explode as the Mavericks easily handle the Bulls by a score of 114-96. This has been an exclusive presentation of Home Sports Entertainment.